Welcome back to Here's the Lineup. I'm going to go through the United versus Brighton match. I'm going to dive straight in. So United started the match on the front foot. I thought they had some pretty good attacks. Anthony should have scored his chance early on, but Rashford and Bruno and even Anthony Martial also had good chances. Down the other end, Brighton also had good chances to score. Lindelof gave it straight away to Matoma early on in the first half, but he could only put his shot straight at De Gea. I thought United pressed Brighton really, really well, and in the early phases they were cutting through Brighton quite well. It was very slick. Fred's energy in the midfield was very key to that as well, and Wan-Bissaka was locking down Matoma on the right side. Caicedo was the right back for Brighton, and I don't think that he really had the better of Rashford. Rashford had some good chances on him and should have scored really. Up until around 35 minutes, I thought United had the better of the chances in the first half. Although it was pretty balanced, and on the possession side, Brighton had more of the ball. But if you watch the match, you would say that United had the better chances. They had more chances as well. The only thing that let them down was poor finishing, and this is where, again, as I have said in the past, they need to go out there in the summer and get a top striker that can actually finish goals, because where they rely on Rashford so much to be the clinical striker, he isn't cash money clinical. That he gets the ball, and you don't always think that he's going to score. That he does make great chances, but they need to then go one step further, get a top striker and get a good backup striker without having to rely on people like Weghorst. But Brighton grew into the game late in the first half. They had really fluid movement. Welbeck and Enciso would drop into the midfield. I thought Brighton dominated the ball. They controlled the ball really well, but they were still limited to long shots only. With all that being said, United were able to hold strong up until the second half. And when the second half started, it was like a completely different game. It was just wave after wave after wave of Brighton attack. Even if they weren't attacking, they just had the ball for the whole half. I think it took around 30 to 35 minutes for United to actually then, do something. Brighton were just able to play through United. Caicedo came into the midfield, and him with McAllister is just a cheat code, because McAllister has the passing ability of a very top quality midfielder. He has long shooting ability, and then Caicedo is able to lock the midfield down. He's very energetic, he's a good tackler, and he's a good passer. And even Billy Gilmour was able to move the ball around well as well. He was able to dominate the midfield also for Brighton. I think the top priority for United, not only being a striker but also a backup for Casemiro, because we've seen it in multiple games where he gets a red or he gets a yellow and he's not able to, really play. The same thing happened against Brighton, where he got a yellow for a bit of a silly challenge, and then he probably should have gotten a red in that match, but there's no one else to bring on. You can bring on Sabitzer, but he's almost a second striker, so it doesn't really work in that position. So United really needs to go out there and become a serious club where they have more than one player in each position that can actually come on and make a difference. Ultimately, it seemed like it would be a repeat of the FA Cup semi-final match, but this match United had a lot less control over, and then that second half really just killed the game, where Brighton just toyed around with United. United have played some really poor matches in the last few games, and this was no exception. I thought they did start really well in the first half, and in my opinion, I don't think they dropped off that much in the second half, but they did drop off. The scoreline could have been a lot worse if people like Matoma had better decision making, because he got in some dangerous situations for some good crosses, and he could have even squared it off early in the first half for an easy tap-in, but he went for the shot. United go into the last few league games knowing that it's in their hands. They need to shake off this finishing bug that they have, where they can't seem to finish good chances. They make a lot of chances, but they can't finish them. Also, I want to do an analysis on the last few games for United, because I feel like it's been the same thing each time. This match was an exception because they weren't really in control anyway, but in other games where they've been in control in the first half and then they've just dropped off in the second half, obviously fatigue, and they've played so many matches and they don't have very good depth, so that comes into it. But there just seems to be drop off in quality when the second half comes, and they allow teams to get into a good rhythm. They allow them to grow into confidence. So I'm going to do an analysis on those. But that does it for the end of my analysis. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and please leave a comment and enjoy your day.